Let's go back to Mike Helgren, who, when we left him, had a witness account of a young man who heard 15 shots. That's a lot of firing back and forth. Mike?
And we hear other neighbors heard that gunfire. Just frightening moments here. We're right now on Radke Avenue, where it's closed off at Moore's Run Drive. And U.S. Marshals provide a number of services in the federal law enforcement system. They also partner with local law enforcement. Let's talk a little bit about that. They provide some witness protection services, also some courthouse security. We can see again the active scene here and Chopper 13 above as well as police continue to investigate. Now, according to the U.S. Marshals website, just in 1 year alone, they apprehended more than 33,000 federal fugitives. They provide witness security for government witnesses. They also provide prisoner transport operations, so a wide variety of duties, and they typically work with local law enforcement, and we know that they do here in Baltimore, especially with the crime issues that we've had. They've been partnering very strongly. Again, we're still waiting to hear more information about the circumstances that led to this U.S. Marshal being shot. As Paul said, it does not appear that there is an active shooter or anything of that nature out here. Just based on what we're seeing with the officers, they are methodically investigating, documenting this scene, and they're not letting anyone through at this point. Again, we're waiting for a briefing. We want to find out the status of that suspect and also the condition of that U.S. Marshal. And as we've been talking about over the past hour, we've seen a number of officers wounded in recent days, including the 2 Anne Arundel County police detectives, the 2 officers who were injured responding to a squeegee worker complaint in South Baltimore, and now this U.S. Marshal shot in the middle of the day, just after noon here in Northeast Baltimore, Frankfort neighborhood, Sedonia area, right off Radke Avenue. Baltimore Office of Emergency Management has asked people to avoid this area. We've seen a number of people going around this detour here, but as you can see here, you can't get very far beyond where we are, and this apartment complex would just be off to the side here. We're also seeing that from Chopper 13, giving us that bird's eye view where we can't get on the ground, where you can see the areas that are cordoned off and the massive law enforcement response here.
Mike, Paul showed us that one of the officers had clearly taken off his protective gear and leaned it against a tree, which again leads us to assume that that means that there's not a panic about a search going on. Are the officers around you wearing protective gear, or they now look more as though they're examining for evidence?
I mean, right here where I'm standing, they're just doing traffic control, making sure that the area is blocked off. When I look further up, you can see they're not running or anything like that. So it doesn't appear that there is any immediate danger in this area. However, while they investigate, they want to keep the public away. They don't want anyone disturbing evidence, so it appears that there is no immediate threat in this area. However, we're still waiting for an official briefing on the status of the suspect.
All right, thank you, Mike. We'll come back to you in just a moment.
We want to check back in with Kelsey Kushner. She is live for us outside Shock Trauma, where we know this is routine, standard routine for officers who are injured or hurt, especially in this case, to go to Shock Trauma for treatment. We know that the priority, of course, is treating that officer. So as you said, Denise, it'll be a while before we get an official update, but we do want to check back in with Kelsey to see if there's anything that's changed or any new information, Kelsey, you've been able to attain in the last 10 minutes.
Well, Denise and Nicole, within the past couple minutes, I just saw the U.S. Baltimore State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby make her way inside. We know Baltimore Commissioner is inside, and the mayor is also inside. None of them, had the time to stop and talk to us, give us an update about the condition. I know they just wanted to make their way inside and talk to the U.S. Marshal, get an update on his condition. Again, all we know right now is that U.S. Marshal was brought here to Shock Trauma. We do not know the condition, the circumstances that led to that shooting, but we are waiting waiting for an official or a doctor to come down and give us an update on their condition. There's a large police presence outside shock trauma here. There are multiple officers outside. Also, we saw multiple officers go inside and detectives make their way inside. Police have blocked down West Lombard Street. They're blocking off traffic. The only people who are allowed to make their way to shock trauma right now are officers or ambulances. Again, just as time goes on, we keep seeing more officers arrive on scene, walk around shock trauma, make their way inside. Everyone's trying to get an update on that officer's condition. It looks like Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski is right now making his way inside to the hospital right now. So we have, again, the commissioner, we have the mayor inside, Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski is inside now, and Marilyn Mosby is also inside that hospital right now. For people who might have been watching earlier or might just now tune in, you know that there was a state police chopper that landed on top of shock trauma. And again, like you guys were saying, like this is standard routine when they bring in an officer, when an officer is injured, they bring them to shock trauma here for treatment. Usually it takes time before an official comes down or a doctor comes down to give us an update on their condition. So we are outside waiting for that. And once we get that update, we will bring that to you guys.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. We don't know that the officer was transported in that chopper because there are people who are being injured all over the area who are taken to shock trauma if they're in that situation. But we do know that that one marshal is being treated there right now.
Yeah, let's get back to Paul Gessler. He is live at the scene for us. Paul, have you been able to talk to any more witnesses or folks who may have been out there when this was happening, or folks trying to come home now?
Well, pretty scary, Nicole. Secondhand, we've heard from someone whose wife and child are in the building here behind me along Sedonia Road. Their window faces out towards Sedonia Road. A lot of the activity seems to have been right in front of this building. He relayed to me that he didn't want to talk on camera, but he has been in touch with his wife and child, 2 years old, that when all this commotion started, she described it as a bomb going off. It sounded like it was going off right outside of her door. She grabbed her child, went under the bed, and it's really, we don't know how long it'll be until he can be reunited with her, as there is a lot of evidence that's being processed right in front of the only door in and out of the building. We see there's been a forensics photographer who's been making her way around the scene there in front of this apartment complex. This is Garden Village Apartments here in the Sedonia area, where over my shoulder you see a lot of that evidence. We don't want to show you the white sheet on the air right now, so we'll pan over toward the north of this apartment building, where you see in the parking lot there are about 24 officers just within view that you're looking at right now behind this tape, from all walks of law enforcement, some in plain clothes, others in uniform as well. And as we mentioned, to kind of piggyback off of Kelsey's point of the activity downtown at shock trauma, when we were leaving federal court today, where we were in for a sentencing hearing in another case, right after noon, they were blocking off streets. Several city police cars, as well as unmarked police cars, were racing westbound on Lombard Street downtown. To give you a sense just kind of the rush of law enforcement in all parts of the city around the time that this happened. So again, Radeke, Sedonia, both closed here to traffic. The law enforcement presence is heavy, to say the least, here on the ground.